so quiet as kept because I don't know if anybody's paying attention, honestly. The Mavericks are in 5th place. And not only are they in 5th place, they have a top. I don't want to overstate it. Right. I don't want to overstate it, but I'm pretty sure they have a top 10 defense this year.
I know they're in this streak. They're 4th in their last 10 games. They're like 9-1. I actually kind of looked at that a few weeks ago because I was
wondering what it was at.
Yeah, and I always keep up with the stands, but no, I was talking about Luka. How because I tweeted the other day like he's young. You know, everybody once we start getting to the season, you can start overlooking people, especially when you get bored. Somebody's done it, and Luka's been in COVID and stuff like that. But you know, other people have started to come up.
Right,
Ja, the conversation with him and Trey, obviously, shout out to Trey for the home team award. And there's no disrespect to none of them, but I said that Luka is by far the best young talent in the NBA. Like, I don't think it's close. Luka's better than all of them. So, but, you know, people weren't really paying attention to Dallas, and they were struggling when he was out or whatever. They struggled a little bit. And then, you know, he's not averaging 29 this year. He's averaging 25. So that means he's having a down year, but something like that. I don't know, but
he's averaging 8 rebounds and 8 assists,
as he always does. So I don't think it's close. I think when Luka's finally put with teammates, that's obviously nobody can be on his level, but as far as
just being
on his level, everybody needs their supporting cast. When he gets his supporting cast, Luka's gonna dominate the league because that I know we're about to get into it, but that was a conversation I was having with somebody else because we was talking about LeBron and how they all, you know, he say it ain't gonna be nothing like it when he leave or whatever. And I tell him, we always say that there's always somebody else to come up, and we basically was talking about what young player, excuse me, you can see dominating like LeBron does now. And when it comes to when the OGs are gone, Steph is gone, KD's gone, LeBron's gone, and it's, you know, Giannis is still gonna be around because he's not as old as them.
He's just now turning 27.
None of the young players is messing with Luka. None of them.
And with that being said, I'm John Davis.
It's fresh X.
It's the Hoopers Afternoon Session. It's just an interesting conversation.
There's no disrespect.
No.
I'm not even gonna play around because somebody's having a good season. Somebody's playing well this year and act like they better than Luka. They not.
No, I feel you, and there's nothing wrong with that because Luka, like, he's been to the playoffs. They have an advantage. He's been to the playoffs. He's, you know, he was game winning the playoffs.
He's not flawless.
Like, he's not.
He could defend better. I think he could play off the ball more, which he's starting to do with Jalen Brunson.
He could be a more consistent shooter.
He can. He takes tough shots. He has flaws in his game, but I'm not gonna act like the great, amazing season that Ja is having. I wouldn't take Ja over Luka.
But the
conversation has now been no Trey got to the conference finals. Right. No, Trey's the home team. Hopefully he can get us back there.
Right.
But I'm personally never thought that I'm not taking Trey over Luka. I just ended with that.
No, I feel you. And I was just gonna say add on like Dallas without Luka and Porzingis over those past couple of weeks. So Porzingis still hasn't come back regardless of how I feel about him. He is a good number 2 for him. And I think Jason Kidd is finally finding his rhythm as a head coach. Honestly, like we still don't necessarily know what Dallas looks like this year because I think the more Luka gets comfortable playing off the ball with Jalen Brunson, I think that affects his shooting as well because he'll find easier spots, and Jalen Brunson is gonna look for him.
And that's helping. It's funny, you know, Jalen Brunson was able to merge through Luka being out, but that's kind of what we've been saying though, because you know, I said I don't want them to get. I said that last year I don't want them to get stuck in Luka just playing the point guard and they just play this way that everybody's playing where one player has to dominate the ball. No disrespect to it's kind of like the LeBron way of how, you know, LeBron dictates everything that's going on. And while that, you know, LeBron, it works for him, but Luka's too young for it. So you want him to still be able to be versatile in his game, know how to play with the ball in his hands, learn how to play off the ball. And they were supposed to shout out Off the Ball Network. they were supposed to have Porzingis was supposed to be his number 2, and originally originally he was hurt and stuff like that, and you know he didn't play up to some of the levels that people thought a number 2 should play, but it's been different reasons for that. But he's never, you know, having people been able to kind of play without him. It seems like it's going to help Dallas in the long run this year.
And just to end the Dallas talk right here, they're no longer
stop playing with Luka, man. Luka better than all of them. Jason Tatum, Zion, name whoever you want. Luka better than all young players. And that's just is what it is. Oh yeah, shout out to the hockey jersey.
What's up? All my hockey guys out there
for sure.
But no, yeah, Dallas just ended. It's reported Dallas is in their pursuit of Miles Turner, who I think would have helped this team out tremendously. But
I also add Dallas is not going to lose Jalen Brunson. A lot of people think he's going to leave because he's a free agent.
Yeah,
Mark Cuban going to pay.
Right. But
my bad.
They were also reportedly in talks about maybe considering going after John Collins, but you never know with Dallas.
I like the Miles Turner move because clearly they have needed a big. They just let Trill go last week. Willie Cauley-Stein.
They did sign Marquise Chris to a new 2-year contract.
Yeah, I don't love it, but
I feel
Miles Turner upgrades them. Especially if you get Miles Turner and somehow you keep Porzingis. I mean, I would guess he would be in that trade. I don't know. I ain't looked at the trade or whatever. Yeah. But because how do you get John Collins without getting Porzingis? So does that work? Or I don't know. But if both of those players can upgrade their team, Miles Turner's more so because I don't think Porzingis is like Anthony Davis. He don't want to play center. Right. So at least Miles Turner can,
and he'll defend.
That helps their defense too. Right. So, which their defense is already good. And you add lead shot blocker in the league, and that'll give Miles Turner some respect in the defensive player of the year conversation. Yeah, he could. People aren't going to ignore his blocks when he's on overall team with a defense with a high rating like that.
Oh, sure. Shout out for us going 6 minutes of nothing but Dallas Mavericks talk, honestly. Hey, you ain't necessarily much talking about Dallas. Like I said, it's kind of been sneaky, but let's stop it right there.
Yeah.
Before we get too far. So
that was all because people disrespecting Luka, and I'm holding Luka down. Somebody have a good couple weeks, and now automatically they're better than that player. I understand. That's what we watching right now, but just because you're having a better season don't mean you're a better player. You're just having a better season.
No, surely.
I think Josh should be in MVP conversation.
But speaking of Ja and the Memphis Grizzlies, of course, they were on an 11-game winning streak before Dallas ended that, but they kept on rolling, honestly. And at this point, middle of January, we're getting close to All-Star break. Josh probably gonna be an All-Star starter in backcourt. But
who's the start? Who's the starters in the last? He's competing with Steph, and it's probably Luka, right?
Yeah, it's Josh, Steph, Luka.
It's gonna be tough, but he can do it. Yeah, get him in there, Memphis fans.
But do you think at this point? Of course, everybody's talking about how Memphis not talking about, which means people are talking about them. But do you think at this point Memphis has shown that they are right there with the best of the best teams in the West, or just in the NBA in general?
Right. Yeah, I think Memphis is at the point now because honestly, Memphis has been getting love. I've seen a few people talk about Memphis.
It's a little over-exaggerated.
Yeah, we say they're getting some legitimate love. Ja has been in even on the national media as far as Kendrick comparing him to Michael Jordan, then Kobe, just saying Shaq just compared them to Kobe. I've in the past said that he was like Iverson, not because of their game, just the whole impact or whatever, because they're different players.
Sure.
But Memphis, they're at a point where you have to respect where they are. Not that you got to take them serious as a championship contender, because that's another level, but they've been consistent the last 2 years of making the playoffs. Oh, well, they were competing for the playoff season stopped. They lost in the bubble. We know how
they did make playoffs last year.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to say. Then they wanted to play in last year, and they made the playoffs, which was a big win because I don't think a lot of people were even going I didn't pick Memphis. I didn't pick Memphis. So
nobody except Memphis picked Memphis.
So no major upgrades to the team, but you knew that they were at least going to be solid. But their team fits everything they do well, and the emergence of Bane and the health of having Jaren Jackson all year is helping the team. So I think you got to take them serious as far as they're going to get home court. But am I taking them serious as I think they're going to the finals this year? No. Not right now.
No, I can respect that because I think Memphis still
has that guy though.
Has a long way to go, and they still have to make sure all these are the players, and you never know what you could get in a trade out there who's going to become, going waivers.
Honestly, I won't even look to trade nobody though, because I've always said they needed that guard, and if Bane, since he's been starting, he's 22 points per game. If he's really that player, that's an all-star player on a winning team. He's not going to make it this year because it's a small sample size, but if he's really 22 to 24 points per game, I mean, now you talking, especially, so they have the pieces that you just want to see upgrade. You got respectable vets and Steven Adams and Kyle Anderson.
Right.
I mean, we just talked about Memphis, so their team is realistic. They're kind of going to be in a position, I think, where the Hawks were, where it's like, all right, like you just said, do you trade one of these dudes, or are you going to be who we think you are? Because you're not winning championships with one all-star, one all-NBA player. So you need to at least need an all-NBA and an all-star. Chris Middleton, Giannis, he's consistent all-star or whatever. So
yeah,
if you're that, hey, now you're talking different because they can play many styles. When you think about it, they can go small with Brandon Clark.
Yeah,
Kyle Anderson. They can get big with JJ and Steven Adams. Good guard play. Mm-hmm. It's there. I just don't. I got to see them beat somebody in the playoffs. I reserve. I could if they're playing like this in the playoffs, then we'll talk about something else then.
Not fair. I respect that.
If y'all MVP though, that's where he is. That's what we really see.
Do you think he has a realistic chance to win it, or is this like maybe he finished top 5?
I said 3. On the last show, if they finish with in the top 2 to 3, he could be in the conversation for it. Because that's at the end of the day, that's what tipped it over for when Derrick Rose won it. Because he had an amazing season. He averaged 25 and 8. You know, it's not all about the stats being so eye popping. Or he averaged 35 this year. Because at the end of the day, 25 and 8 is an amazing year, but we've seen better stats. Right. But it was how averaging 25 and 8, how unstoppable he was, and how he contributed to winning.
And 60 games. Like.
Exactly, and that's what if Ja is in on that pace, it could happen. I hate that we think that the MVP, not we, but some people think that the MVP can only be a couple people. And because you're young, you can't be in a conversation. What does it take to win MVP? The stats. He's averaging 25 and like 8. That's just off the top of my head. It's probably wrong, but he's somewhere in that ballpark. Yeah. The team is on pace for 50 plus wins. Right. If you hit those benchmarks, why not?
I feel shot because young players should be able to be in those conversations as well. I think it's a thing. Like
it don't just got to be KD. Which KD was my MVP, but the race is super open.
And shout out to Giannis because at the end of the day, he was a young MVP as well.
Exactly,
I can't over exaggerate that. Yeah. It's been young MVPs, but I feel like once you get to a certain level, you are the MVPs. Right. Like Steph, LeBron, KD. We can throw Giannis in there, but he's still under 26. There's only so many, like say, the handful of MVPs, even as the season go along. While there is some push for people giving Ja MVP consideration, there's still a group of people who's going to say, nah, like he's a third-year player.
And they're going to automatically, because he's a third-year player, and just because Giannis is averaging 20, whatever, KD's averaging 30 or whatever, they're going to say it's just fatigue of those players, and not necessarily. Somebody else could have a better year. And yeah, I think it does matter if we kind of saying you do this before and somebody else emerges out of nowhere, that because it's always a narrative that goes into the MVP also. Always. So that helps. The MVP does not have to be the best player in the NBA. The MVP and the best player in the NBA is 2 different conversations. It's that simple. But I don't think he's going to win it. I just look at his stats. He's 24 and 7, but if they finish first place, which they got to get there. But if you finish first, if you're 24 and 7,
they should be in third.
They're in third now. But the difference with Derrick Rose too, they were first place all year. Yeah. So that also plays into it.
Yeah. But I'll end this with this. That's what the kids in the streets call a bar, sir. That was a bar because he spit all facts. Honestly, like that's the truth. But moving on. I seen an interesting stat. I think it was Legion of Hoops on Twitter. They said DeAndre Ayton this year is averaging 16.8, 10.6, 63.7 from the field. Does he deserve to be an 63.7 career high for him? Does he deserve to be an All-Star this year? Are those All-Star like numbers? Are those numbers good enough for a top 2 team in this conference and in the league?
Yeah. Why not? I think so. 16 because it's not just about averaging 20 anymore.
Right. It's never about averaging 20.
Right. So 63% from the field is crazy. First of all, 63% from the field.
And of course, I know all lockdowns, which is not DeAndre Ayton.
It's not.
He can create offense for himself in the post, and he has a good mid-range jump shot, which he will eventually step out to the 3-point line at some point.
What's going to hurt him, unless they get a replacement, Phoenix isn't going to get 3 All-Stars. No. And more than likely, Devin Booker's an All-Star.
Yeah.
More likely, it's going to be hard for people to choose him over Chris Paul.
Yeah.
So that's where his hiccup is going to be because, Phoenix they're in first place. So it's not crazy to think of a first place team getting 3 All-Stars, but that's when averaging 20 kind of matters, right. I guess.
And I think even being in the West kind of makes that hard a little bit because we know
because it'll happen in the East.
Right. Yeah, it happened in the East. Jared Allen is going All-Star. Just an All-Star lock. Rudy Gobert is an All-Star lock. Mm-hmm. LeBron in the front court is an All-Star lock. Who else we get in the West in the front court? That's 3 spots already.
Yeah, that's 3 spots already.
So
that don't include once you get to the guards or whatever. So
Cat is in the West. I'm not saying he's locked, but
he's not a lot. And that's where the conversation is gonna come. Cat or Ayton, and that's where Ayton kind of wins though, because they're gonna be under the judgment of the coaches, and the coaches will choose Ayton because Cat's been the All-Star, Ayton hasn't, and his team is better. That's literally how it will go. And I'm not saying that Ayton should go over Cat, but if Cat didn't make it and Ayton did, I guarantee they put each other.
Y'all just screen record this, so when it happens, you can play it back, and you ain't got to think about who said it. He said it right here today. Every time.
Because right now, just said Gobert.
Yeah.
Front court, Gobert, Jokic, Bron.
We know all those a lot.
Right, them are locks. So, yeah, that's gonna be tough. And who do you choose, Cat or? Because Minnesota's good. We knew Phoenix was gonna be good. So, Minnesota was gonna be good. No. So that's where it plays. But when the coach is voting, I can see Ayton getting that vote. But deserve. I wouldn't say he deserved as far as if he didn't make it, I'd be all upset. But I think if he makes it, he earned it. Yeah.
I think if he makes it, he earned it. I mean, I don't think nobody in sports deserves anything. First and foremost, I want to get that out there. But if he makes it, he definitely earned it. But I won't feel like he got cheated out of a spot if he doesn't make it, honestly.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
So we've had a handful of Klay games. Real quick, we ain't got to go too far into it because we know Klay is Klay. He had 22 points in 21 minutes last night. But have you seen much of him?
Honestly, no. I haven't really watched the Warriors recently, other than like highlights. I haven't really dug into the Warriors recently. So I've seen him move around a little bit, and he looks good from what I've seen so far, or whatever. But yeah, I did see he just came off his first 20-point game. I was looking at his minutes the first few games and was saying, how Steve, he's not on minutes restriction, but they definitely have been.
Yeah, like he played 21 minutes last night.
Yeah, so they definitely ain't just throwing him out there yet because they say he's not on the minutes restriction. So that's just some things I've noticed, but I haven't watched the Warriors game. I'm not even gonna lie about that.
But if y'all do want to know about the Warriors, maybe you can even hit us on Twitter real quick. Brian Ruiz from All the Hype podcast, also part of the All the Ball Network. He got the inside scoop on Warriors if you ask me about it. So I'm gonna hit you on Twitter as well just to get your thoughts about Klay, and how he's playing. But like I said, Jared Allen, the Cleveland Cavaliers are pretty good this year. Darius Garland, I think in his last 10 is averaging 20 and 12. 20 points, 12 assists.
Player of the week last week, I believe it was.
And I guess he should be the Hooper Spotlight at some point. Yeah, we talk about him Monday on the radio show as well.
Yeah,
but I've been thinking about this, and of course I did the thing on Twitter the other day where I was, trying to help Darius Garland get into the All-Star game. But I think when it comes down to it, I don't think Cleveland gets 2 All-Stars. And I think it's going to be easier for Jared Allen to make it in the front court. Like you were saying, it will be easier for.
Actually, I'm saying Garland is a lot.
Garland's going
to be an All-Star. So it's really more of a conversation is if Jared Allen going to get in here. And I think they are. Because
you think Cleveland gets 2?
Because just looking at the top of the East, the Bulls is going to get Zach and DeMar.
For sure.
Like that's it. The Vooch isn't going to.
No, yeah, they only get 2.
Miami. They don't have All-Star this year.
I feel you.
They don't have one. Jimmy ain't played enough. Bam's been out. Kyle Lowry not. They don't have All-Star.
You don't think Colors going to get Kyle Lowry in the spot?
No. Miami don't have All-Star.
I respect that.
Miami
coaches, I hope y'all watch it.
Miami don't have an All-Star this year.
Kyle Lowry, they just a real team overall, right?
They are a solid team, but Jimmy has missed a lot of time. Mm-hmm. Bam I think he comes back like next week. I don't think he played in the last game. He's not back yet. Yeah. The best conversation would be Tyler Hero. I mean, over Kyle Lowry. I mean, Kyle's averaging 13 and 8. He's like 8 assists is nice. But Kyle, they're not gonna. I've seen some Miami games. I ain't know Kyle Lowry's playing.
They're not gonna put Tyler Hero on.
Miami is a good team.
Tyler Hero comes off the bench though, so he's not gonna be on All-Star.
Miami is a good team. Period. Brooklyn, you're gonna get KD and James Harden. Both of them are gonna make it. Milwaukee, you get Chris Middleton and Giannis is gonna make it.
And those 2 front court spots.
Right. Joel Embiid is gonna make it. Mm-hmm. Is Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown making it this year?
I don't know. We can.
They're gonna be at the judgment of the coaches. Boston is in 10th place.
I feel you.
I don't think they're gonna make it. I had this conversation the other day, and we had it on the show. The Hawks are in 12th place. That's why Trey didn't make it last year. Cleveland's going to get 2 All-Stars this year.
I'm not even mad at that because I do want to see both.
Cleveland's going to have 2 All-Stars. The Bulls going to have 2 All-Stars. The Bucks are going to have 2 All-Stars. The Nets are going
basically
to have 2
everybody
All-Stars.
in the East is going to have 2 All-Stars.
Yeah.
Except Philly.
Philly only going to get 1 because Ben Simmons not playing. So just Joel.
And I respect that.
And that's where the shit, because Philly had 2 last year. Boston had 2 last year. That's 2 players gone. 2 open spots.
And I respect that. And I feel like.
But my bad. I wouldn't be surprised if Jalen or Jason, one of them got it, but both of them is not making it. And both have missed time. So who do you choose? The team's in 10th place. Neither one of them get in.
And I respect that. And I wish and I hope that, because neither one of them is going to get the fan vote. Neither one of them is going to be starters. But I hope that this is one of the times where the coaches do reward young players for going out there and holding it down and having their team in a winning position and just competing, honestly, and not even just competing, but competing at a high level. And I want to ask you the same question that I asked you about Memphis. Do you think at this point they deserve their respect? They're going to be a tough playoff out?
Yeah, and I think just like Memphis, I wouldn't be surprised if Cleveland could, because it's always it happens. It can happen on both sides, but I wouldn't be. You have to respect Cleveland because Garland is a real deal. Their defense is the real deal. So, I'm not saying they're going to the finals yet because I don't think they're beating the Bucks or the Nets in a series. So they can catch them a game here or there, but
they're going to be in the regular
Atlanta showed us last year that if you play with them, play with these young teams, they'll catch you slipping over there. But I do want to say I wouldn't be surprised if, to your point, just thinking about it, because Miami is in second place. I wouldn't be surprised if the coaches did choose between Kyle and Kyle Lowry and Tyler Hero. Tyler Hero has just as good of an argument as Kyle Lowry do. He's averaging 20. He leads their team in scoring. Well, Jimmy leads them in scoring, but Jimmy's been out so much. Yeah. Tyler basically lead their team in scoring or whatever. So Sabonis was an All-Star last year. He's not going to be one this year, more than likely. So to your point, what you said earlier, the coaches may consider that for sure. Miami's in second place. That matters.
No, yeah, but like I said, I just think this is a time. And I like how they're doing it too, because even like I know we talk about they got 3 7-footers out there, which they do, but I don't think they understand that these are 3 totally different 7-footers.
Yeah,
I think Lauri Markkanen playing the 3 was the smartest thing a coach ever did for him, because he doesn't want to bang in the post, but he can go down there.
Exactly.
He doesn't necessarily like have the foot speed of most threes, but he can hang with them because he's so long. He can still shoot over people.
And how they play team defense, you don't mind if he get beat every now and then.
Because Jared Allen and Evan Mobley.
And Evan Mobley, he's in the conversation for defensive player of the year. He's a rookie. Well, he should be, but people just go to the main people.
Right. And then, like, so even with Evan Mobley, who seems to be their scorer for them up in the front court, like, he can go from the low post to the elbow. He can pass. Like I say, he's an excellent defensive player. And Jared Allen, where now you think, all right, maybe the lane is clogged with him. Right. He's an excellent spacer and roller. And I forgot who I was talking to the other day. Nothing but airtime. He has good rim anticipation.
Yeah,
it's not about like, he's up there, he catches it. Like, no, he knows when to catch it. And even on his blocks, like he understands. Like we seen how many windmills and cockbacks, we not seeing him block, because he has great rim and ball anticipation.
Right. And it fits offensively too, because like you, to your point with Markkanen, he do prefer like to be on the wing a little more. And Jared Allen doesn't necessarily need the ball. He's gonna run his pick and roll. You might give him a poke pit in the post every once in a while. But the X factor is that since Evan Mobley still just a rookie, is still so versatile at the end of the day. Because like you said, he is more of a, if you're anybody gonna get a post touch, it's gonna be him. Right. So man, you gotta take Cleveland serious. I wish Young Bull was out there to see how Colin Sexton fit with this team.
Right.
Because that'll really make decisions about next year a little better. But I can't wait to see him and Garland and see how they can kind of help each other, but we won't see that to next season. But Garland is a real deal. Like, he's a real deal.
Yeah, for sure. And he's having a really good year overall. Like, and healthy. All right, that's the key. He's healthy. And I know we hear it all the time about how coaches, some people in the front office don't know what they're talking about. Darius Garland as a rookie, it was one GM said he's the worst player in the league. I don't know what GM that was. I don't know if that GM still has a job. And I don't even know if it was actually a GM, but it was somebody in the front office. But he said he was the worst rookie in the NBA. He was the worst player in the NBA his rookie season.
That's tough.
And it's like, you kind of got to swallow it now, right? And
Right.
not ever get another job again evaluating basketball talent.
Yeah, why would I even listen to you about anything?
No, for sure. And we're getting closer to the trade deadline, and all kind of wild trades coming. I just seen it was reported Lakers done worked out about 10 different trade scenarios. They got THT. This not just going to be about the Lakers. Got THT out there on the trade block. But it was a trade the other day. It was Boston, somebody and somebody at Denver, and somebody else. Bobo went. Bobo.
Yeah, PJ Dozier.
Yeah, PJ
Dozier.
PJ Dozier and Bobo went to.
Dozier went to Boston.
They went to the same place. So
did Bobo go to Boston too?
That trade didn't really. Yeah, it's not even a trade to do anything for. I just trade. But
and then the trade with the Spurs.
Spurs was in that. That's Brett Forbes went to. That's what it was. Brett Forbes went to the Brett Forbes went to the Celtics in that trade. That's what it was. Yeah, it's weird. It was like just a trade. It was more for my bad. Brett Forbes went to Denver in that trade.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm trying to think. Brett Forbes go to Denver to be
Bobo, PJ Dozier went to Boston. I forgot who got one.
Gomez went to the Spurs.
My guy, he's out of
Boston basically just traded for two hurt players. It's really a strategic thing.
No, that's more for
as it is, but
that's more for Denver.
I'm overly dissecting everything Boston doing because I don't respect the Celtics front office. I don't respect how they moved over the past few years, and I hate it because I like Jaylen Brown, I like Jason Tatum. I was a fan of Romeo, but Boston is terrible right now. They need to redo everything.
I feel it. Even the jerseys, we haven't get the jerseys.
Yeah, new jersey should change everything.
But I seen something somewhere proposing saying, of course, the Pacers are looking to unload a lot of their better players because they're ready to tank and rebuild and start over. But apparently they've been filling out a trade for Domantas Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox. And I think this is more on Sacramento's side, and I think this is where Sacramento, they drafted all these guards over here, so they trading the one they think that has the most value. But I feel like if you bringing in a player like Domantas Sabonis, you keep a player like De'Aaron Fox, because isn't that the move you make for a player like that to show that we're trying to build and help you win and succeed?
Yeah, because some people may say you put him with Halliburton, but Halliburton is still more in development. I would say, like for that it must be a third team where Fox is going somewhere else because if you are trying to lose, why would
you go get? Right.
Why would they want De'Aaron?
That don't make sense.
Like I say, it would make more sense to pair him up or whatever. So it would have to be a third team. I've seen some Knicks people talking about their potential getting De'Aaron Fox. I don't know if that's a real thing. It's just something I've seen on NBA Twitter or whatever. But yeah, I don't know what I never know what Sacramento is doing. Honestly,
Sacramento don't even
know what Sacramento doing. Sacramento don't even know. What they're doing,
yeah. 40 over. No, my bad. Yeah, 40 over.
They don't even know what they're doing.
But
Sacramento's been. I don't know what it would take to change Sacramento. Honestly, that's just the history of their franchise. Other than a few years with Chris Webber, Mike Bibby, Jason Williams, when he was there, they brought a little excitement or whatever.
Right, Rick Allen,
obviously, they competed for the playoffs when Ron was there. But the history of San Antonio was terrible. Sacramento, excuse me. My bad. No big difference. The history of Sacramento was terrible. They wasted a lot of people's careers.
Yeah, that's what they're going to be doing still. And I think trading De'Aaron Fox, if Indiana decides to hold on to De'Aaron Fox, I think now you putting De'Aaron Fox in a situation where it's going to be the same thing as Sacramento.
Right. And maybe Indiana doesn't necessarily want to tank if they make that.
Because the city wouldn't live with that because
I think they'll support them because they trust their front office, honestly. So if they lost for a year or so, I think they would trust them. But I think maybe you're thinking you get De'Aaron Fox and you put him with the rookie because he's a rookie, he's older or whatever. And then you see what happens with that. I'm not sure, and that's what my conversation with like Miles for Porzingis maybe. Yeah. I don't know. I don't really know what Indiana is thinking at this moment.
Because it's like this, like Indiana, they're so content with what they are and who they are that they don't have to tank. Let's just put out a good team and go out there and try our hardest. But would it be so wrong if Indiana was to ever go after like, nah, man, we want number one, we want a top 5 pick next year? Like, would that be the worst thing for the NBA or the Pacers? Like, whether it's just the state of Indiana basketball, honestly, like, let's go. Like, we've been a middle of the road team for so long, and our fans just love that and respect us for that.
Right.
Would y'all really be mad if we said, yeah, we're gonna be bad a couple years, like really bad?
I mean, but if you look at the history of their team,
they haven't been bad since Reggie Miller.
Right. And even Reggie, like, was Reggie a top 10 pick?
Yeah.
He was top 10.
I'm pretty sure he was a lottery pick. I don't know.
Yeah, so I mean, usually even when they get a lottery pick, though, it's a later
lottery pick. Like Miles Turner was 7.
Yeah, Paul George was like 13.
Danny Granger, middle of the first round.
Yeah, so they usually get those players, and then they traded for Jermaine O'Neal or whatever.
Go get Jalen Rose and as like Mark Jackson.
Right. So
they don't go after young players who you can develop into a future superstar. They go after solid veterans.
I mean, that's why they signed Malcolm Brogdon or whatever.
Right. Like, we gonna sign some good young players and some veterans to help them. Then we're gonna be the 4th seed. Exactly. Maybe we compete for 3rd seed and go to a conference finals, but home court advantage, and our fans are good with that because they get to see. They might get to see 4 guys that play all basketball in the first round.
Basically, so yeah, we'll see Indiana.
We will see. But I think more teams, like, in those situations try that. Especially like those teams who know the fanfare is going to be there regardless. Like, if I can see New Orleans, like, can't tank forever because they fans not going to hold on to it, and you got to ship them out of town again. That's how we got the Utah Jazz. But I think more teams that are in those middle markets who just, the teams are okay with them just being okay should just not necessarily try the process like Philly, but we finna go after some 1s and 3rd, 3s.
And you gotta just know when it's not going the way you want to go, and then just offload those players. I mean, that's just how it goes. Sometimes you need to help your franchise.
For sure. But before we get out of here, Lakers got a big win over Utah the other night, where Utah perimeter offensive scoring was just atrocious. Russell Westbrook got a big, nice and one dunk. Like, his week.
I don't care about none of Russell Westbrook's dunks that he's gonna get every once in a while nowadays.
Okay, well, we ain't got. Did you see the video on the fast break? And they was out. I don't know if it was a player or not. Sure, they screwed out.
He said no, because they should have ran the clock. He went and got the and 1.
But with that being said, shout out to Zach Ramsey, knowledge over at the Off the Glad podcast, who breaks down why that's kind of what doesn't make Westbrook a point guard, more of a playmaker, because a point guard, you do think about, let me pull this back and run some time off the clock.
Yeah, because I mean,
I think just any player who's not just all adrenaline.
If you turn the ball over right there and they score, that's just such a bad play. Because at the end of the day,
they
were already at 4 or 5. They were just gonna foul him. He's gonna shoot a free throw or whatever. So
scared to shoot free throws.
That's why. So,
but also no disrespect to him, because Westbrook is a hard player. Like, he's a very hard player. Like, he plays hard, he works hard. I feel like Westbrook is like 90% adrenaline. So when he going. There's nothing you can do about it. Like, and I don't think he's figured out a way to actually make that contagious.
I don't think Westbrook thinks the game. I don't think he thinks the game. I think he just plays it. He saw the opening. I can't go get this bucket. It is time on the clock. I'm gonna go ahead and get it. But you also, I just wouldn't have done it. But hey, it worked out for him.
You ain't in the NBA.
It worked out for him.
But other than that, you got anything else?
Now, other than that, just as always, appreciate the viewers. Appreciate all the listeners. Shout out to Pat Benson. He was on our latest show. Shout out to Jelani. He was on the show also. Shout out to the Off the Ball Network. You can find us anywhere podcasts are available. Just search the Hoopers Pod. Every Monday, catch us on Nothing But Net, channel through the Dash Radio app at 3 o'clock, 3 p.m. Off the Ball Mondays. We got a whole 4-hour block for you. So I think you really just started up at 12 and just let it run.
That's like
11.
Yeah,
start up at 11. Start up at
11
and just let it run. So, we're going to have time to 6 o'clock. It's going to be a good one. So shout out to the Halftime app, 6 p.m. We do that every Wednesday. We took a few weeks off, but we back this week. So shout out to the Halftime app. And other than that, that's all I got.
All right, we're John W.
It's for sure.
This was the afternoon session.